Shout out Regulation Show. Got the new Gerpler. Anybody else? Yo, if you are a Field Tone Audio fan and also watch Regulation content, we are good friends. Hey, welcome into Tape Loop Tuesday, where things don't always loop, but it is always about tape. That was off the cuff. Pretty proud of that. Yeah, Tape Loop Tuesday is less about actual looping tape. I do have some tape machines here that I will use eventually. So I got that guy, which I love. I got this one. It's a little micro cassette recorder, which is also awesome. This big guy is broken, and I would love to find another one eventually or get this one fixed somehow. The tapes just don't spin, so I feel like for the entire time that I've had it, it has gone back and forth between working and not working, and I never know why it stops working or why it starts working again. But last time I plugged it in, it doesn't work. Maybe next time I plug it in, it will work. Who knows? Regardless, it's not always about looping. We're just doing tape processing, degradation, slowing things down, wow and flutter. I was jamming with the new Field Tone Audio frame template, which is available now. You can find a link to it in the description. There's also a discount code down there. Basically, it is a template that I've made for Logic, Ableton, and Cubase, where you can explore some sounds and do some very tape-like processing using Field Tone Audio sample libraries, or if you want to, like we're going to do today, swap out the Field Tone Audio libraries and put in your own thing and just run that through all of the buses and routing that I've set up inside of here. So you're going to hear a lot of what it can do today. Again, link in the description to pick that up. If you want a bigger discount than what's in the description, you can join the Field Tone Audio Patreon. Even free members get a little bit of a boost on that discount. I, like many others, have always been inspired by the work of Nils Frahm. He is one of my favorite performers and composers. It's fun when people ask, who's your favorite composer? I feel like a lot of times they're expecting you to say like Beethoven or Mozart or something like that. But three of my favorite composers are modern composers: Olafur Arnalds, Nils Frahm, and Snorri Hallgrímsson. Three very different types of composer, but three very influential on myself personally. So we're going to do something in the style of Nils Frahm today. I'm going to send a Roland Juno into a delay, into a tape machine. I'm going to hook up some parameters on my MIDI keyboard down here and have those affect some stuff that we can manipulate on the fly and do something very similar to a couple of his live performances. So for this video, I'm actually just going to swap this out. This is going to be Audiothing June. This is probably my favorite Roland Juno emulator. I know there's a bunch out there. I'm a huge fan of Audiothing plugins and Audiothing apps. Everything that's available on desktop is also available on mobile. And if you're familiar with my channel, I do a lot of stuff with my iPad. If you're not familiar with my channel, I do a lot of stuff with my iPad. This was one that I was very excited about. I did a shootout of all of the currently available Roland Juno type J-style apps that are available in the iOS App Store and you can use with your iPad. This one from Audiothing happens to be available for both desktop and iOS. So I'm going to use this one, and I actually made a preset that I called Mr. Blippy, which is kind of funny. It's just I set the arpeggio on, and yeah, it's just a really fun there you go. You can already hear some of what happens in frame. These effects here. Love these. The flutters are my favorite part, but then you got the delay and the reverb and the flutters. So anyway, I bound some of these front panel parameters to my Novation Launchkey. Not sponsored. They didn't send me this. I bought the Novation Launchkey. I love this. Well, let me show you what I used to have. Actually, I can show you like everything that I used to have. My first keyboard controller was this Akai MPK Mini, which got the job done. I used this with my iPad 2 and the camera connector kit, and then I used this with my old MacBook, and yeah, just eventually ended up not using it anymore. So then after that, I got this big boy, this M-Audio key station. which I still have for some reason. And then eventually there are just not enough things on top of this, like not enough parameters for me to be able to like do stuff like dynamics and expression and manipulate other stuff with my hands. Also, the keys are very yellow. See how yellow those are? I really don't think I ever noticed that until now. Then I have my Nord back here, which doesn't get used very much these days, but it is plugged in, so I can use it. Then I got this Novation launch key, which has all these knobs up top that you can do stuff with that my M-Audio key station did not have. So I mapped some of the June parameters to controls on my MIDI controller. If you don't know how to do that, all you have to do is right-click on a parameter. I already had that on there, but you hit MIDI learn, then you hit learn, and then you jiggle whatever you want it to learn. So now this encoder on my Novation launch key controls the VCF. So if I hit something down here, let me turn off the arpeggiator. And there is just the beauty of Frahm just lingering. I'll give that a second because I like to listen to that. Again, if you want to purchase Frahm, it's available for Logic, Ableton, and Cubase. They all function exactly the same, just set up the way that DAW operates. So yeah, I have one for frequency, I have one for resonance, and then I have over here the 4 on the right. Well, here, let me show you this. There we go. So I have these. These control the ADSR. So that is doing this. So I have all those mapped, and then I like to turn the arpeggio on. So we can turn this on. This activates the arpeggiator. Let's bring the reverb down. So you can kind of see why I named it Mr. Blippy. So let's enable these tracks for recording. We're going to record June, and then I also want to record the delay, the reverb, and the flutters print. The MIDI won't record until I hit something, so let's do that. It's so good. I love it. And then I also have this, which I forgot to enable. So let me turn that off. All these are turning off. And you are gonna record. I love June so much. This is my favorite Juno plugin, app, whatever you want to call it. And there we go. There's that jam here. Okay, so now what's cool about Frame is that we can take this and drag it down to my tape processing lane, solo it. So there you've already got some tape processing, but then let's slow it down to maybe 10%. But then we can add the reverb back in. To duplicate this. Then we can have this go through the tape processing as well. And we'll duplicate that and bring the flutters down. But then if we want it a little bit more Nils Frahm-y, we can throw something like Audiothing Reels on our master out. And I like to just hit randomize. All the Audiothing plugins have this randomize dice icon up here. Reverb on the master out. Well, let's slow it all the way down now. Let's see how that goes. It's kind of Nils Frahm meets Stranger Things. Well, there you go. That's how I would do that. Hope you had fun. Thanks for joining me on Tape Loop Tuesday. If you would like to grab Frame from here at Field Tone Audio, there's a link in the description. It's available for Logic, Ableton, and Cubase. And I will see you next week. We'll play with some more tapes. Maybe I'll actually play with a tape this time. Yeah, probably not.